Subscribe to my channel Tales That Burn and press the bell icon for new stories. Aliens mocked the tiny puppy until his human owner arrived. The bar on Vera Station was filled with the usual mix of alien traders, mercenaries, and smugglers. Holographic lights flickered, the air thick with the scent of spice ale and heated circuitry. Conversations ebbed and flowed in dozens of languages. Clicks, growls, harmonics, and translated speech. And in the middle of it all, padding across the polished metal floor, was a tiny earth creature. A puppy, barely 3 months old, floppy ears bouncing with every step, tail wagging with reckless joy. His fur was soft brown, his little paws slipping slightly as he scurried toward the counter, sniffing everything with a boundless curiosity of life. The room went silent for a heartbeat, then erupted in laughter. A hulking Drogon warrior, scales glistening in the neon lights, leaned forward and tapped one massive claw on the counter. By the stars, what is that? A war pet? A hunting beast? His booming laugh shook his armor. I've seen vermin larger than this. The puppy tilted its head, tongue lolling happily, completely unbothered. A group of feathered Sarix mercenaries joined in, their voices high-pitched and mocking. Oh no! Look at the tiny predator. Hide the food scraps before it bites. Others chimed in, and soon the bar was filled with mocking imitations of barks and growls. The puppy didn't understand. He only heard noise, saw bright feathers, flashing eyes, moving tails. He yipped cheerfully and tried to jump onto a stool. His little paws slipped, and he tumbled back down. The laughter roared louder. Then the door hissed open, and silence fell. A human walked in. He wasn't armored like the Drogon, nor bristling with weapons like the mercenaries. Just a worn jacket, combat boots, and a face lined by years of hard living. His eyes swept the room, sharp and calculating. When they fell on the puppy, his expression softened, then hardened again as he caught the mocking stares. The puppy bounded to him instantly, tail wagging, whimpering with joy. The man knelt, scooping the little creature into his arms, holding him like something priceless. He looked up, his voice quiet. Calm, too calm. Which one of you laughed first? The Drogon sneered, baring sharp teeth. Human, your pet wandered in here. We were only amusing ourselves. You take offense at laughter? The man's jaw tightened. At mocking him? Yeah, I do. The Drogon chuckled, towering over him. You would fight over a tiny fur ball? This creature is weak, useless. The human scratched the puppy's ears, whispering something only it could hear. Then he stood, placing the pup on the counter. His eyes met the Drogon's. You just insulted family. The Drogon laughed again, right until the human moved. It was fast, blindingly fast. One moment the human stood still. The next he had driven his elbow into the Drogon's throat, dropped low, and swept his legs. The massive warrior crashed the floor with a roar that turned into a choking gasp. Gasps echoed around the bar. The Sarix mercenaries flared their feathers in alarm, reaching for weapons, only to find the human already had a knife in his hand, pulled from nowhere. He didn't lunge, didn't shout. He just held it low, steady, eyes promising violence sharper than any blade. You see weakness, he said softly, because you don't understand loyalty. You see small teeth, soft paws. I see a protector who will never leave my side, no matter the danger. He glanced at the Drogon, still wheezing on the ground, which is more than I can say for most of you. The puppy barked once, a tiny sound in the heavy silence. Something about that bark made the aliens uneasy, because they'd heard rumors about humans, about the Death Worlders who tamed wild beasts, who carried loyalty as a weapon, who turned even fragile creatures into symbols of defiance. And in that moment, staring at the human and his puppy, the rumors felt all too real. The Drogan struggled up, rage burning in his eyes. But when he met the human's gaze, he froze. Because behind those eyes wasn't just anger. It was a promise of endless retaliation. The kind of promise humans were infamous for keeping. The mercenaries slowly lowered their weapons. The human lifted the puppy back into his arms. The little dog licked his chin, oblivious to the tension. The man finally spoke again, voice like steel wrapped in velvet. You mocked him because he was small, because he couldn't fight back. Remember this. Humans protect what's theirs, even the smallest. He looked around, his eyes sweeping the entire bar, especially the smallest. No one laughed now. The man turned. Walking out the door, the puppy curled safely in his arms. The hum of conversation only returned after the doors hissed shut, but it was quieter now, hesitant, because every alien in that bar had learned something new that night. It wasn't the size of the beast that made it dangerous. It was the human who stood behind it. Friends, this was today's story from Tales That Burn Fire. If you enjoyed the story, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss any new stories.